Hi, everybody. I'm Vladimira Kuna, and we have amazing Roberto Delanese here. And I am so honored to meet him finally. We've meant to meet a few times, but Roberto is an international best-selling author of the Delanese Method, which is a trademark for his coaching. He has been in the environment of world corporation and really work and knows how to help corporations and anything within. He will tell you more. And I love when he said, I love developing people and helping people. And one of my favorite coaching sentences is, management is not about direction of things, but development of people. So when Roberto said that, I was like, wow, this is a representation of perfection. And he does coach. He's an amazing coach who is doing personal development, but in terms of career and enhancement, studying and helping you to enhance your job and choose your path, because sometimes we think we're on a purpose and we feel that there is something not quite aligned, or there is something but we just don't know how to connect to it. And working as a coach helping all these people is just fantastic and fulfilling. Hi, Roberto. It's amazing to have you.
Hi, Vladimira. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. It's an honor to be here. I follow you for a while. You are an amazing lady.
Thank you.
And it is a privilege to be here talking to you. So thank you very much.
So tell us about your book. What inspired you to write the book?
Oh, okay. Yes, my book, The Delanese Method, it's an international bestseller guide to success, prosperity, and abundance. The Delanese method is how to achieve something that is not common nowadays, is how to live your dream life. I based the book in my lifetime. Basically, if I look in my lifelong journey over the years, and all the trials and errors that I went through, and I started developing some principles and techniques that helped me to achieve some goals that everybody used to say that they were impossible to achieve. So I was able to do this, and that's what brought me from Brazil here to the United States. And when I was here, and even in Brazil, but every place that I have been working, I tried to help people to do the same. So I love to meet people when they want to grow, to expand, to become better, to achieve something. And I used to take my personal time, because I was never working in human resources. So I work in the technical area, but I always took my time to help those people to achieve goals, not only in their career, but also in their personal life. So that's a passion that I have. And when I stopped working a couple of years ago, I said, okay, so let me try to start helping people now for just because I love it, okay, without any interest in money or anything. And then COVID came, and I was stuck at home, and stuck at home last year. So I said, man, what can I do? I cannot help. I'm not a doctor. I cannot help anybody. So then came the idea, literally, I live here in Nevada, in Las Vegas. So it's a nice and hot place. You have a beautiful swimming pools, and one of those pools, floating there, it came to the idea, why don't I write a book that tells exactly how I develop people, how I help people to achieve their dreams. And basically, that's how the book started. So last year, thanks to COVID, I start taking in the pool in the afternoon, thinking about what can I write. And at night, I would write a few pages and do this day after day. And in 90 days, I had my book done. So it is a book that the objective of the book is literally to empower you with the principles and the techniques, so you can achieve great success in all areas of your life. So it is an interesting book.
I love that you said that, and I love that it's your story, because when you walking a walk and talking a talk, that actually is people know that you can do it. You know, like following someone with results is so important. And I've heard Oprah once saying, there are people, there is not a story that somebody doesn't relate to. So, you know, like when you were telling me the story, how you left Brazil and started living in the US, and obviously I related to living Slovakia and living in the UK. And it's not always easy at the beginning, all the things that you have to deal with, including, you know, like papers. And I mean, there's a whole sort of a new world when you change countries and
Mhm.
building your new life somewhere else. And it's just so important that we go through this and share the stories, because there are so many other people who can actually do the same, but they just don't, they actually think, like you said, everything's possible. But
Yes.
not everybody believes that.
Yes. It's interesting that you mentioned that, because when the idea came, let me write the book, and I can literally explain to people what they can do in details, and they can achieve the same results that I did, right?
Yeah.
And then next idea was, the next thought that I had was that, but who am I, right?
Mhm.
I'm not in personal development. I'm not like known anywhere. So I work in big corporations for 40 years, okay? Like the global companies, I went all over the world with them, okay? But I said, I don't have anything that gives me the right to write a book like this. So what I did was I said, let me start writing the book with my story. So I divided my book basically in 3 parts. And part 1 is literally the story of my life.
Okay.
It's basically how I was born in a small town in Brazil. It's a very modest, my parents are very modest, very poor people, right? They never passed 2nd grade in school, because at that time, if you knew how to write your name, you'd get a job. So you
Yeah.
don't need anything more than that. And when I was about 10 years old, in the book explains why, but I got a dream that my dream was to become an engineer, to work in the railroad as an engineer, where my father was the mechanic, right? And I was the joke of the family for many, many years. I say, who are you, right? This little kid that has no money, no school, nothing, and wants to become an engineer, right? And I don't know how, but basically, I made my mind, I would go to that school, I would do this, and I developed my life. And when I was 17, 18 years old, yes, I got to the best engineering school in Brazil, okay? So it was like a big win for me that surprised everybody. Okay? It was like something that everybody said would be impossible, right? And then the same thing, when I want to work for a multinational, I want to move, I want to go to US. When I came here, so I want to live in US. Then I need to find a job in US, okay? And like you said,
Yes.
when you get here, then you don't speak the language, the culture, don't know anyone. So you have a lot of hurdles that you have to pass. But those things I think they are great. Although people say, wow, you had to go through all those problems. That's the price you pay to achieve your dream, okay?
Yes.
So when you have a dream that you really believe, something that is important for you, I always tell people, if you have a dream that you cherish, that you really like it, it means that you do have inside of you anything that it takes for you to achieve them. You just have to go for it, okay?
I
And yes,
love that.
oh yes,
I
and you
love
need,
what you said.
oh yes, and you need some principles, some techniques, and that's what the how-to, I give some information in the book in terms of how you develop your mindset in order to go for it. So I did the first part of the book, basically, because everything was not perfect. I got here, I was married, and then I started focusing only my career, only the money and this, and I got in trouble with family. I went through a divorce, so I went through a downhill. So I went way up, I went to the downhill, and when I was way down,
Law of rhythm.
oh yes, you go down and say, man, how did I get here? What did I do wrong? Okay, how can I be so successful in some areas and mess up in other areas? Okay. And that's what I start looking and say, how can I adapt the same principles that I use in those areas to the other areas? And that's how the mindset in the book comes from. So I did that in the book, and everybody that reads the book tells me, how were you able to expose your life that much? Okay. I said, I need to, and I want to, because it's to give credibility. So I was not born a rich guy that is very easy to write how you become rich, right? So I come from nothing. I went through up and downs, and I know how to survive. And from that point on, I just grew constantly, okay? So I said, I did that journey. If I did it, you can do it. Anyone can do it, right? So that is my first part. And then I went to the real meat of the core of the book, that is the mindset, is how you prepare mentally to basically have the what you need inside of you that's going to help you to achieve the goal. And most important is how you are going to overcome obstacles. It's very easy to have a goal and start in a journey to achieve a goal, but when you start and you get hit by a big obstacle, a big hurdle, you don't know how to overcome. And that's how most of the people they give up on their dreams, or they settle for much, much less than what they wanted and they can achieve, right? Because they don't know, they are not mentally prepared to overcome the big hurdles and the problems that everybody encounters when they are reaching for a goal, right?
Absolutely.
So that's how I did my life. And I did the mindset, how your belief system, how you use your belief system to really achieve anything that you want, to develop what I call the mindset of a champion. Is develop that mentality that says, yes, I can do it. I know I'm prepared, and I can do it regardless, okay? And then the third part, yes, is when you take one goal, is how you're breaking parts and times and how you're going to execute the plan. So one thing that is also a little different in my book is that I have 18 chapters, and after each chapter, you have a little summary, like a takeaway. What is the main idea, the main learning from this chapter? And after that, you have an exercise, it's a homework, right? And the homework, the exercise, that is the key for you to have success with the book, because that's how you customize the method for you. Okay? If you can take this book, the method, and you can get a Sunday morning, and in 3 hours, you can read from first to the last page, okay? And you learn nothing, and you're going to achieve nothing, okay? Now, if you go chapter by chapter and you do all the exercises, because they build in each other. You start with little things about yourself, where you are in life, and you keep building up with exercises that when you get to the last chapter, you know what's your main goal, you know what it takes, you know how you're going to get there, you have the dates, and you have everything prepared for you to go and take action and achieve them. So that is something that is a little different. So that's why I call a practical guide. It's not just for a reading book. It's a guide that will basically drives you. It's going to give you the directions, how you go from one place to another. Even in the beginning, I was trying to call the book like the GPS for your life. It's a book that takes from where you are today to where you want to be in the future, right? So
I met an author. I'm sorry to disturb. I met an author whose book is called Human GPS.
Oh, yeah. For me, that's basically what I said. I said, well, I know everybody knows where they are in life, and they have a dream where they want to be. So it's the same as when you get your phone and you say, I'm here, I want to go to this place. How do I get there? Right? In the GPS, it gives the directions and tells you how you get there. So that's how this book is structured.
Okay, so you're using it as a roadmap, pretty much, to your dream.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, fantastic.
Basically, yes. So in the beginning, one of the first chapters that I have is Know Thyself. Okay. So who are you? Okay. You have to know who you are, where you are. So when you say where you want to be, you know what's the gap. How I'm going to get there, right? So that's why it's similar to a GPS. So if you think about a GPS, this book is a GPS for your life.
I love that. I love what you said about mentorship, because when my very favorite quote is, who is the mentor? Mentor is a person who can take you or show you where to go, but not tell you what to see. So every individual has to connect to their dreams, but you can guide them, which is the roadmap. And also how important, I actually ordered your book today, just a couple of hours before we started interviewing. So I'll be doing the exercises and telling you. And I love the exercise at the end of the chapter, because no amount of knowledge makes a difference unless we apply it in our life. And when I started studying with Bob Proctor and Peggy McCall, and I work with Peggy, so I love that. But actually the exercises are making me think on a different level than just reading, understanding, ticking off that I've done the lessons. You can hear them 100 times. But when you writing down and being challenged by the question how it applies to my life, I all of a sudden realized it's not a quick, straightforward answer. And I had to think quite on a deeper level, how am I going to apply this knowledge into my life?
Yes. No, it is right. It is, in my book I always say that I'm pragmatic in what I do, what I say, how I teach, how I wrote the book. Okay. So when I was coaching people way back in the companies that I worked in the past, I had a lot of people coming to me and I would say, they want to achieve something. That's my goal. Say, why did you try? Okay. Oh, yes, I went. And they always mention that they bought like those big books, like 400 pages books. And they say 90% of the book is all theory that doesn't apply to me. I don't care, right? It's almost like if you want to learn how to drive a car, They don't start telling you how the battery works or how the brake system does to stop the car. Okay, no, you give the directions, how you sit, turn on the key, and how you go with the car, right? So if you want to learn about the details, how the car works, you're gonna book and you read later. Okay? But you don't need to know that to go and drive the car. So I do the same thing here. You want to achieve a goal, you want to achieve your dream, you really want to live the life of your dream. Okay, I give you the tools that if you follow them, if you really follow them, you will achieve your dream. Okay. Now, if you want to know why those laws work, those are basically natural laws, those are principles, these are basically global, basically natural systems in the world,
yeah.
natural laws, okay?
Yeah.
So you say, if you want to learn about the natural laws, about those big principles, yes, you can buy those big books and you can read,
Yes,
okay?
it's true.
But you don't need to know why they work. You just need to know that they work. And that's why I said they work for me and they work for many people. I use this method. I have like people, I live in South America, I live here, I was a lot of times in Europe, in Asia. So I have people in different places that I help to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that this method works for different cultures, for different people from different countries. So I have been, you can see in the endorsements in the book that you see people from Asia, from Europe, from South America,
yes.
North America, okay?
Yeah.
Because the principles are the same, the laws, the natural laws are the same, okay? So if you are working with the tide, you always go with it, okay? You have no
resistance, and I love that.
No chance to fail, right? Yeah. Oh, yes.
I love that, and I that's what I love about mindset and coaching, because people say, oh, but how can you can help anyone, whether it's love and relationship, whether it's work, whether it's being stuck, whether it's not really connecting to the self-love and self-deserving and self-worth, or whether it's financial problems, or whether it's a time freedom, like all these, when you're saying the natural works, the laws work, whether we believe them or not. And sometimes we're asking, oh, why is this happening to me? Well, who is it supposed to happen to? And I love throughout the way you were talking about describing your book, you were saying about how you've learned, and I can so resonate with going through immigration, like moving to a different country, building a life somewhere else. You actually look it as a blessing, because if I didn't have to experience all these, I've learned to drive car on the right, car on the left. And then whenever I'm now driving from UK back home, you're driving a car with the wheel on the right, the wheel on the right, but you have to then swap the road. So part of the journey is actually in the right car on the right side of the road, then it's in the wrong car in the right side of the road, and then it's actually right car and the right side. And I can flick, I can just jump whichever car now. Haven't I experienced it? And that's what you're teaching people, to experience the journey, how they can actually get to their dreams following your method. And like you said, people are trying to, and I actually see that a lot. People are trying to see how much they have to master everything else. And I've learned from my mentors, and that's actually probably the most valuable thing, is you don't have to know how. If you follow someone who's done it, then they know how they did it. It took years, time, money, everything, the energy. Now, these people like you, I'm so grateful for people like you, because we can learn something fast, efficiently, and pretty much cheap, as opposed to spending years and years testing it on our own. And how much we can then form it. And stories are so beautiful and the most powerful. And this is why sometimes we see people are giving us, like, teaching someone but they only know it from the books. I'd rather look from someone who actually experienced it.
Yes, it's interesting because a lot of people basically, when they grow up, they are always told by the parents, and I was told the same thing: if you work hard, you're always going to achieve what you want, right?
Yes.
So people focus too much in terms of doing it, okay? In terms of, I have to do it. I just work hard and I'm going to succeed. I'm going to be okay in life, okay? And yes, working hard is very important, but it's not everything, okay? I would say, and even the book, I basically say it's almost like half and half. If you take action, if you do everything perfectly, you work very hard toward that, that's half of the way, okay? You have the other half. That's basically derives from where? It's from your mindset, is your belief system, okay? I always say our belief system is a major force that is determining if we are going to have success or not, okay? because in our mind, that's why you have your strength, our talents, our motivation, what I call the empowering beliefs, the things that are going to move you forward when you are in trouble. But it's also in the same place you have your fears. You have those disempowering beliefs. You have failures on the past that is still residing there. So you got fired for a job on the past that you think was not fair, but then you start saying, well, maybe I'm not good enough, right? And then you start working at a company, and that same idea is there, well, maybe I'm going to get fired again, right? And yes, we become what we think. So
Yes.
if you keep thinking that, yes, I'm going to be fired, you will eventually get fired, okay? Because you're going to bring that to you.
Yes.
And people don't realize that. People start basically, they ignore this, but at the same time, they have some fears. And even if you look in the fears, you say people, they're gonna be accepted. They fear rejection. So nowadays with the social media and all the likes and the hearts and all those little things all over the place, you see people that are basically getting away even from their personal belief, from their core belief, because they want to be accepted in a little group, in the social media, they want to be part of such group. So people are changing their beliefs, not for them to be a better person, for them to achieve something, but just to be part of a group that they don't even know who is there. Okay? Yes, and that they don't even know who is there. It's just like 10,000 people there, so I want to be there. And yes, I'm going to dress like this, I'm going to say like this, so they do everything, they mold themselves.
So true.
To be part of that. And this is like a big problem for a lot of people, right?
You know, I studied Wayne Dyer, and he actually talks about approval and how people expect approval. And this is exactly what you just described. And he said, if we could learn to live from not just being criticized, but actually we don't need anyone's approval, positive or negative. We're just happy with what we're doing and feeling aligned. This is how I would love to do it. And I don't care whether people like it or dislike it. You know, like as long as it comes from your heart and it comes to what you said, being authentic.
Yes. There is a book that I remember seeing like years ago, and you said, this came the book to mind. Okay, yes. I think the title was "What You Think About Me Is None of My Business."
None of your business. I love
yes, something.
It's a cherry. Like it's a Jade Whittaker. There is another one, but it's by Jade something Whittaker. What do you think of me is none of my business. I love the title.
Okay. And that is very interesting because one of the things that I stress for people saying, the importance to have your belief system that you know what you want. When you establish a dream, it's your dream, it's not somebody else's dream. So you don't need somebody else to validate the dream. You can validate the time that it's going to take to do something that you need for the dream. So in order to the dream, I have to learn this, or I have to do this. So yes, you have to validate if you are planning properly your timeline to achieve the goal. Okay, but you don't want an opinion if you should or not do the dream, if you should pursue that or not. That's your dream. Only you knows what's good for you. Only you know why you are doing that. Okay, so don't go when you have like a dream that you really cherish. Just cherish and just talk about it with people that you really love and that they love you back. Okay,
and they support you.
Start telling everyone just to see if everybody agrees out there. Okay, that's not their problem. Okay, just look at the people that are. Is probably a very small group of people that really believe, they know they want the best for you, they care for you, they love you. With those people, you are safe to talk to them and get some inputs from them. But even in that group, you know why you are doing, right? Yeah. When I said I was moving to US, it's very hard for the family. I'm the only son in my family. Okay, so and you tell them I'm going to leave. Okay, I'm not coming back anymore to live in this country. Okay, it's a shock for everybody. Okay? Yes. But it is something that once you have that dream, you are not asking for validation. Should I move? Okay, that's not part of the dream. Okay, so we just to give an idea, I informed them that we were moving to US to stay basically 10 days before departure. Okay, we had the ticket already. Okay, we had the job, we had the ticket, we had approval for the immigration, for the visa, and when everything was set and done, we said, "Okay, guys, we have news for you, right? And we are leaving." Right? Why? Because it worked perfectly. Okay, it's a shock, but it's like you don't hear the negative. Oh, you should not do this. It's too late. Okay, it is very interesting. I think it it is important that you know what you want. And like I said, if you want something, I know that inside of you, you have what it takes. You just need to look at your belief system and improve your self-esteem, remove those negative thoughts. And there's a lot of little things that you can work, and that's what you exercise are going to do. Okay, you can learn even how to visualize your dream. Okay, those are techniques that work very well for most of the people. Some people don't use this; they can use something different. Okay, but those are things that is always very positive, and they always influence in the right direction. And I can say that if you really can see something, you can visualize, and you believe that, and you believe you see already having that with you, or being in that place, you will achieve much easier.
Yes.
You can
And it's true.
When my boy he was a runner when he was in school, and he had like some coaches, and I was looking very carefully in terms of how those people do, and we start looking how they train those athletes, the top athletes, people that are in the Olympic Games and those kind of guys. And you see that those people, sometimes you believe that when they are training, they basically run 24 hours a day. Okay, they are just running. Okay? Yeah. And you realize that that's basically 10% of the effort is to be running. Okay.
It is.
But before the races, okay, those people spend a lot of time with a psychologist, with somebody, and basically they can close their eyes and they can see themselves. They start running and everybody's behind them, and they can hear the crowd cheering. They can feel the wind. They can feel when they cross the line. They can see themselves on the podium. So when they build that, you literally, when you start running, your mind, that's what your mind believes that's going to happen. And if someone is passing you, your mind says, nope, I must be in front. And you're going to go way over what you ever did. That's why you have a lot of people breaking their own records in those races, because their mind is set up that I am winning this race. So I have to be in front of that guy, right? And they do it. They go overboard. And it does work. You can see that.
It's amazing, because I worked with a group of sports people, and to have the clear vision as a bigger judge, I said to him, you have to own it. Like, can you see yourself as a winner? Like, who can see yourself holding a cup? And actually, nobody raised the hair. I was like, well, okay, so you lost. In your mind, you already lost. You can't, but the team is stronger. I said, and again, you lost. Like the way, until we establish how they're thinking.
Yes.
And it really helped. And I said, you have to own the game. Like you walk on that pitch and you know that this is our game. And you do the best as individuals and then the best as a team. But it will happen, right? You must have a clear vision of winning. And mindset is absolutely so much in everything we do.
Oh, yes. You never see a champion or a team that is a champion to go in the field or go a fighter to go in the ring and say, well, I may lose today, right? This guy's good, so I may lose the fight. Okay? No, okay? If he starts like this, he will lose. Okay, there's no way out. Okay, I always therefore I'm the winner, I'm the champion, I can do it. I will defeat them. Okay, it is that has to be ingrained there. Okay, and that's how he that's what he does to survive. Okay, and to really win.
And I've heard, I don't know if you know Lisa Nichols, but I've heard her talking about her grandmother telling her this sentence when she was on a swimming team. She said, winners never lose, losers never win.
Yes.
And I've used that quote so many times. I'm so grateful for that quote because it's so true. And it goes into a mindset of everything you actually said.
Yes. And that is something that you can develop, this I can do attitude, this mindset that all the champions have. You can develop even without doing much. You can even start with very small goals, okay, very small things that you can do it. Establish something you're going to do this week. Okay, I'm going to clean up my room. Okay, I'm going to clean up the files in my computer. Okay, I'm going to do this. Okay? And do it. And when you do it, celebrate. I always believe the celebration is one of the most important things for you to build, for your mind to build that.
I agree.
Acceptance to say, yes, I did something. I established something, I told someone, and I did it. Okay. If you do this regularly, you build basically a list of things in your mind that I achieved 1, achieved 2, achieved 3, achieved 4. Okay, so I can achieve everything else that I'm going to do. Okay.
Mm.
Now, if you say I'm going to start running a marathon and you start training to run 40 kilometers a day, okay, probably not going to succeed. Okay, it is like from 0 to the top is very hard. Okay, but if you say I'm going to win the 1K, okay, I'm going to win the 5K, and you start basically having those goals that incrementally take you there, you're going to be there. Okay, there is no doubt about it. And the celebrations not only help you with this, what I call to develop your I can do attitude, but part of it is that helps your self-esteem.
Yes.
You start, is one of the best tools that I know, okay, to develop the self-esteem of somebody, okay. When someone is down, okay, just start looking on the past, looking in the things that you achieved on the past, okay, and try to feel the feeling that you had at that time. And you see how much better you feel. Okay?
It's so true, and you can see it on children, you know, like when they do something and they are so happy, they come and present this to us, and we are just like, oh, well done. And you know, you can see this, and then as we grow, we stop doing it. Like, I love what you just said, because it's so true. We don't pat our backs enough because we think, oh, it's, you know, like, I'm not paying attention to myself, it's selfish. And it actually comes to self-worth and self-esteem, like you said.
Yes.
And builds up on confidence, and confidence is crucial. Like, and I love what Bob actually says, like, you should never have too much confidence not wanting to learn, and not enough confidence never to learn. So, you know, like, the balance, the healthy balance of everything we do is just amazing. I love your book. I absolutely love your book. Would you love to add anything else to our beautiful viewers? And by the way, audience, I will put all the details so you can actually directly link to Roberto with all his links underneath, so you can just directly contact him.
Well, just one thing to complement what you just said about those moments, okay, is what I call the importance of having those memorable moments. So I try, and you can see sometimes you are enjoying the time with somebody, like I'm talking to you right now, right? It's someone that I look and say, wow, that I look up to, and I say, wow, this is an amazing time that we spend together, right? So every time you are spending time with someone that you love, and you're having like a nice dinner, you're seeing a beautiful sunset, you're working like you see something that is like a memorable moment, okay? This is something that you should always be aware that you are enjoying that beautiful moment and cherish that. And normally what I do is when I have a moment like this, that I say, wow, this was like a great time that I had today, okay? I look, because I say, what you take from life basically are those beautiful moments, are the learnings and experience that you have in life, okay? So if I'm having those beautiful moments very often, or at least like once a month, or like 2 or 3 times a month would be perfect, okay? It means that I'm doing something right. I'm going in the right direction. I'm enjoying my life. I'm enjoying the journey, okay? Now, if I go like a month and I didn't have any memorable life, something is wrong. So that tells me that I should stop and probably have to change the direction, okay? So that's something that I always ask people, okay? Say, how often have you had,
reflecting,
last time you had like a memorable moment, okay? If you say, well, I can't remember, say, well, you better stop, because you're not going the right direction in your life, okay? Your journey is not great, okay? So you have to enjoy the journey. It's not only the destination. So you don't have to have fun only when you reach your goal, when you become like prosperous and you enjoy an abundant life. You enjoy from today on, okay? Your journey has to be an amazing journey.
I love that.
That's the key. So, I have fun with that.
No, I love that, because you find joy and satisfaction in everything you do, and then you reflect to it. And it's like when you were talking about the belief, something just came to me. You reevaluate the belief system by actually looking back at what was great, because you're connecting to that energy, thinking, how was I feeling? What was I doing? And that actually brings you on that ladder of success, you know, the steps you were talking about. Like, you don't go from, it's like climbing. I love climbing mountains, which I'm sure you know. I'm like, so I can't just literally appear from the bottom right on the top. I have to do the hike. It just doesn't happen then. Okay, fine. If there is a cable car, it's possible, but not with the hike. And it's so important. I love all your job. I'm going to do all the exercises in your book. I'm very, very grateful for you. I had amazing time, my satisfying moment.
Oh,
And
thank you very much. Thanks for having me. It was like it's a big
absolutely.
pleasure for me to be with you and all your audience, because I know it is very big. So congratulations to everyone to be following you.
Thank you.
You're great. So thank you very, very much.
And I really appreciate you.